Welcome to Musician Metaphysics. Today, I'm honored to host a musician whose essence mirrors the profound and resonates with the serious, Jaisson Taylor. A Kansas City's own, Jaisson's rhythmic journey has intertwined with the beats of diverse cultures across the globe. Yet amidst the global rhythm, he's nurtured a bond with the local youth, guiding the next generation toward unearthing their inner harmonies. I crossed paths with Jaisson in 2019, and the resonance was immediate. His extraordinary vocal tenor, paired with his rhythmic mastery on the drums, complements the essence of what we aim to dissect today. Our camaraderie on and off the stage often leads to enlightening exchanges, a taste of which we hope to bring you today. Join us as Jaisson and I navigate through the melodies and dissonance of today's pressing realities, right here on Musician Metaphysics. Your journey into the profound, underscored by the serious, yet soulful rhythm of reality, begins now. Enjoy. Wow. Okay. Well, Dio, he doesn't want to play right now. Well, everybody, I have an incredible honor to have somebody that I've wanted to talk to for a very long time, and I thought it was a very Kairos moment. It's kind of like there's opportune time to speak with you about what's going on, and we don't have to jump right into the serious stuff. But Jaisson Taylor, everybody. Welcome to Musician Metaphysics, man.
It's good to be here.
It's good to have you, dude.
Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, yeah. I Recob, I told him I get chills, when stuff happens. He's like, that's your confirmation. Mm-hmm. I literally just got chills, right? As soon as you started talking.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. I'll never forget the first day I met you. It was a Sunday at Knuckleheads, and I remember everybody on the, and I'd been hanging out with Levittown Boys for a little while, and that's when I was getting to know Jan, and it was like everybody kind of got a little more serious when you showed up.
Really?
No, I mean like in a good way, not in a bad way. Not like it's just like you could tell that they respected you a lot, and that they wanted to, to what I mean. It was just a sign of respect, and so I knew that.
Well, I appreciate hearing that.
Yeah, man, and so and I've told you before, you don't say a lot, and so when you do say something, you better listen, because I've learned in my life that usually the loudest person is the biggest, weakest person in the room, and the quietest one is the strongest. 9 times out of 10.
I like Teddy Roosevelt's.
What do you say?
Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
American.
Yeah, that is good. I wish that we were doing that now. I don't know. Well, I'd like to know a little bit about you coming up, like where you came from, how you got into music. You have such an amazing field, man, and your voice is powerful, dude. Like it's really amazing. And as a singer, I look up, to people that can sing and especially play drums. Holy shit. That's hard.
Just by necessity, I've been in a lot of situations where there wasn't a singer, so
right,
and there wasn't a drummer, so I had to do both.
Filled in. Was it a family thing, music for you?
Not really. I mean, my dad exposed me to jazz music. When he got out of the service, he was in the Air Force. He brought a snare drum from a friend that gave him a drum to remember him by, and it had brushes.
Oh, wow.
And I saw it. And
there's an Air Force joke in there, but I won't do it because it's your dad.
Oh.
Army, we always
armies,
give you, we always give each other shit.
Sorry to hear that, you guys. Different branches need to work closer together.
Oh yeah, and we do, man. There's a funny, I tell this joke. It's like, Army guys can talk about Air Force guys can talk about Coast Guard guys. We can all talk shit about each other. One person comes in that bar and says anything about any of us, their night's over. You know what I mean? Like
if they're not military.
Yeah, if they're not military. Yeah, it's one of those things that I think, I agree with some of the stuff that, Israel has in there. When you get out of school, you got to do a couple years of service. Now, I don't necessarily believe that people need to be thrust into combat or anything, but I think in the military, I didn't care what color your skin was, man. And when you're in the shit, it doesn't matter. We all bleed red. You know what I mean? And I think it's one of those things that instilled in me that it doesn't matter where you come from, what skin color you are, what religion you are. You know what I mean?
Well, have you been to Israel?
I have not. I have not been to Israel.
It's a
All around it.
Very small, tight area surrounded by enemies.
Yeah.
And
totally. I mean,
so
Israel
they're on a heightened awareness of.
Oh yeah, and the Middle East
security.
is no joke. I mean, I spent a lot of time around Israel, never in Israel. I'm mostly Afghanistan, but I mean, you can just feel the oppression in the air, man. When you get off the plane, it's like a thickness. You know what I mean? Like there's thousands of years of hatred, and it's still just brewing out there. You know?
Well, I mean, it started when the Israelites were released from the Egyptian situation, 400 years of slavery.
Yeah.
So they had to go somewhere. They ended up there.
Yeah. I mean, and put a little pushback on that. I mean, there's, some people don't. There are Egyptian Jews, but there are some scholars that don't even think that they were down there for that long. Anyway, they were down there, obviously, but
down in Egypt.
In Egypt, yeah. I mean, it's just who knows, I mean, I'm sure, as you know, I used to, I have a master's degree in theology from Liberty University, and I used to, I found that I'm kind of leaning towards Sam Harris in my years now, where it's like, there's just been so much destruction and death in the name of God that it's just, I just don't, I've just lost my appetite for it. You know what I mean?
For religion?
Yeah, for that, that kind of, it's this way or the highway kind of thing. It's like, shoot, Jesus wasn't that way. You know what I mean?
Well, hopefully he wasn't.
Yeah, right. Right.
There's a lot of things written about that, of course.
Yeah.
So far we've talked about politics and we've talked about religion.
We barely got in.
Two of the things that
I'm sorry. As you can tell, a lot of that's on my heart, man. Let's take a step back, because I do want to. I do, and I'm sure that there's people in the audience that want to know more about your background too. And I do this kind of thing in my life. It's kind of like a catharsis for me. Like writing music is the same kind of thing. It's that, which is why when I came back from Afghanistan, I just put my head in the books. Was because I had to have something to feel like I was still a part of something. I don't know if that makes sense. So. Watching this stuff on TV, it just, I mean, it wrecks me, dude. And if I don't talk about it or feel like I'm using that in some kind of productive way, I'll shoot, man. I wore a suicide bracelet for 10 years, so that's kind of
politics.
Yeah.
Suicide. Okay. It's deep, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to talk about music, though?
Yeah, let's talk about music. Let's do that like first, man. I do want to talk about.
Can heal all of those things.
Yes, for sure, man.
International language, everyone understands. Good music.
Yeah, it's a unifier.
And, real music.
Yeah.
So
I got chills again.
Oops. See, music.
Yeah, man, dude, and it's the reason why I'm still here, man. I guarantee you, if I didn't have music, I would not be around. It saved my life, literally. I tell Frank that all the time about Knuckleheads. Came into my life at the perfect time, and completely changed the trajectory of my life.
See that artwork that you display, is that your artwork?
Yeah, I
It's
use
original.
all of that stuff. Now, I'm using a lot of AI stuff now, but people don't understand. I've been doing graphic art since, gosh, I don't know, middle school really, but like
Mm-hmm.
uh my bachelor's degree is in communications, so
Mm-hmm.
I did a lot of that stuff in college. And
Mm-hmm.
but man, with AI, it's I mean, I can do things that it would take a whole production company to do. I can do by myself.
Mm-hmm.
AI has completely changed everything. Like the way I'm able to run, do Jam Killer and all the shop and have the ordering and all that stuff. I mean, it's a lot of it's I would not be able to do without AI and
Mm-hmm.
Chat GPT. you know, but um, that being said, I mean, there's people that you can you can make art, I guess, with AI, but if you're not a creative person, it's not going to come out anywhere near, like
Mm-hmm.
some of the prompts that I use for that stuff is, paragraph and a half long.
Mm-hmm.
And then I pull stuff out, mix stuff together,
Mm-hmm.
It's also another catharsis,
Mm-hmm.
it's just
I was
creating.
noticing there's a, what would you call it, fantasy?
Hmm.
By
Yeah.
Frank Frazetta. I
Yes, for
like
sure.
some of his stuff.
Yeah.
It reminds me
I
of
like
that.
that psychedelic kind of, you know, trippy, spiritual. I get into that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Maybe some of that is because I microdose, but I do that just I whenever I start feeling like I'm falling back into some depression or something,
Mm-hmm.
I'll start microdosing for a little while and it'll pull me right out of it.
Let's see.
But it's
How long have you played guitar?
let's see, I started playing guitar in the 6th grade,
Mm-hmm.
so shoot, 30 years,
30 years.
35 years. Well, 30, yeah, 30 something years. So, wow.
It's got a foam thing.
Yeah, I actually I started out playing jazz saxophone. My grandfather was the lead sax player for the Stan Kenton band
Mm-hmm.
back in the 1940s, and I inherited his Selmer Paris alto sax. And when I turned 18 and it was
Mm-hmm.
mine, my dad couldn't do anything. I sold it for $1,000. You know how
Mm.
much that thing is worth right now? Like,
Youth.
yeah, I bought a Ibanez guitar and a crate amp.
Mm. I remember those amps.
Yeah. Oh man, my dad was pissed. Man, that was a really nice sax. But I I was really vain and I was real into girls and I figured I could sing and play guitar and that you know was better than the sax at getting chicks.
Mm.
Real meaningful reason why.
There's probably some woodwind people out there who are probably having some interesting
Yes,
thoughts about that.
I
Feelings.
know. Sax is great. It is. I love sax. I love horns in general, man. Horns are awesome. I had a blast putting horns on OK Mama with had Andre down there leading them, man. It was great. Lots of fun. What about you? You like horns?
I like horns. Playing in a horn band forces a drummer to play less and think about just accents and
Yeah. I hear you singing them horn lines too.
intricacies. I try to, give ideas here
Yeah.
and there, but
Dude,
I'm not a horn player.
you're so much fun to play with though, because especially when you're in that fun mood when you're doing the high stuff that you do, man. It's really awesome.
Hmm,
You know what I'm talking about?
think so.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Shoot, I can kind of hit the high stuff. I mean, I do some of the high stuff in my own music, but man, you really have to be concentrating. I do at least, because it's real easy. It's kind of like playing slide. It's real
Mm,
easy to screw up.
mm,
Do you do vocal like warm ups and practices, or is it just kind of a natural thing?
Usually, I do some exercise right before I sing,
Mm-hmm.
but usually I try not to talk
That's
too
why you
much
don't.
talking
Yeah.
if I know I have to sing all
Right.
night.
Well, that makes sense, man. Who was that?
Just gets tired. You just get tired.
Celine Dion. Like I remember reading something about like she wouldn't talk for like a week or
Hmm.
something like that before one of her shows, or something
Mm-hmm.
crazy. I was like, whoa.
Wow,
Yeah. But I don't know.
she can sing.
She can't sing. She can sing for
She
sure.
can sing.
Yeah, she can. And it's like, or Mariah Carey, man. Some of those notes she hits is like, God, only dogs can hear those notes. You know what I mean? Like it's
That's ironic.
so, so high, you know. So, did you grow up in Kansas City, or
I
you
didn't. My dad was in the Air Force, so
moved around a lot?
we moved around a bit. And born in Detroit,
Detroit.
so I know Michigan pretty well. He was stationed in Morocco,
Okay.
and,
Did he stay? Did he
Montana, and
retire? Did he stay and
he
get his
didn't
20?
stay. Though he boxed,
Oh wow.
and so he traveled around. And he was a lefty, and he would box. He got out and went to college and all that.
Awesome.
Became a warden. He was the assistant the director of corrections in Kansas,
Oh wow.
Leo Taylor.
Wow. Well, that's
So that kind of kept us on the straight and narrow as
right.
far as
Yeah, yeah.
focusing in school and so forth.
Did you go to college when you got out of
I went to KU,
KU? Wow. What was your major?
communications.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. What years were that was that?
I was there in 73. She was
73.
77.
Wow, man. I want I wonder what it would be fun to compare what kind of courses were like back then and then when I went through in 2007,
Well, you
2008.
talk about AI. We use smoke signals, and that
Yeah.
back then between the dinosaurs
Yeah.
and
You could actually
volcanoes.
talk to Jesus. You could just ask him.
It's a different time.
Shoot. Man, yeah, let's see.
It's nice to have a cell phone.
I don't mean to age you or anything, but I wasn't even born until 79. So,
Yeah, I had.
man, you look good though, dude. Black don't crack. Come on now. You look good.
We brought race into it. Yeah, I appreciate the comment. Of course, I have to think about those things and get some rest.
Yeah.
Try to walk.
Man, I hear that, dude. I
Tai
have
Chi.
Do you do Tai Chi? Does that help?
It is.
I need to start doing. I used to work out a lot, you know, and I have my back is so messed up right now, and I just keep believing that I had this like kind of vision thing. I don't know what else to call it, that, and I had this feeling that like one of these days, like my back was gonna, it's gonna be healed, man. You know what I mean? Like, and when
It's
I
gonna what?
meditate, it's gonna get healed. Like when I meditate, I'm constantly like repairing it in my brain. You know, have you ever heard of Dr. Joe Dispenza?
I have.
He literally did that. He repaired his back with his brain. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
like he's got the X-rays and stuff to prove it. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm really starting to, you know, dive into. You know, hermeneutics and just I just think that people they need something real, and they're so tired of the fake bullshit. You know what I mean? Like it's just, and you know that's what I don't know. I guess I pray to the universe now. I still talk like, you know, I just I just want, to be able to facilitate harmony and peace and love in the places that I'm at. If that's possible. And the hard thing about that is that if that's what you want to do, you have to do that in your head too. You have to do that in your, in your heart, in your own heart and head, which can be very difficult.
And just practice doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
Easier. It becomes a muscle that you developed. And some people respond to it. Some people don't. They will have their mind set
Right.
on whatever it is.
It's kind of a
where they are on the line of continuing.
Yeah.
It's
right.
not always compatible with being open and with positive message like that.
Right. Yeah, and therein lies another difficulty that I've found is not getting hurt by that. You know what I mean? Not letting it. And I got pretty thick skin. I mean, one of the things I tell people is talking shit's my love language. If I'm not giving you shit, I probably there's probably I don't like you for something. Because that's the way the military was. 9 years in the Army. If you can't handle somebody giving you some shit, you need to find another job. But I also
part of being a thinking, feeling, engaged person is not being calloused to a point.
You're absolutely right.
You don't feel. You don't have any interaction, and so that's feeling hurt.
Yep.
To me, is part of it, of being aware.
Mm-hmm.
You're aware of how you feel. It hurts. What do you do about it?
Right.
Does it debilitate you, or do you continue? Because you can't do what some people do and just lump everybody into a thing. You have to take individual by individual, which is a lot more
Absolutely.
work.
Yeah.
It's a lot more work, and you can get tired, and you need to have balance. That's why balance is such a good thing. You go out there, and you have some good response, some bad response. Then you go
rinse and repeat,
recharge, and get away, and
yeah,
study or whatever it is you do.
Yeah.
Listen to music.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice, man. People are the currency of life. I think, man. I think if in my past, I was, especially after my deployment, I was a big drunk asshole, basically. Snapping anything. I rip my shirt off and fight anyone and didn't care. It was just horrible.
You were Army?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And
where were you? Can you talk about that?
I was in Canada. Well, not all of it. Yeah, I was.
Mm-hmm.
That was main base Kandahar, and then I did recovery operations on route clearance and supply missions. So if something got hit, it was my job to get it out. I went over there thinking I was going to be John Rambo. It's not how it works out. You got to disconnect your heart, and then the hard part for me was when I came back trying to connect it back. It's just, and it's still hard for me. But what you said there about acknowledging the hurt. I mean, that's the very beginning of the healing process, is just, and being willing to admit that it hurt you, and that you know what I mean? Like, as a man sometimes, especially macho, Army dude, nothing hurts me kind of crap, like, yeah, okay, I can be vulnerable again. I can, and that was really, really hard for me really, it was just a year and a half ago Dave Kelly spent the whole day with me at Nux. It was Memorial Day, and I had told Brandon I wanted to play taps, and I was gonna come early and set up, and I came early, but I couldn't play, and I was just really in my head, Uh, anyway, Dave hung out with me, and then at the end of the day, I managed to get up there and I played taps. And I had to sit down on the drum riser to get it done, on the guitar, but it just came out beautifully. And that was the day I took off my suicide bracelet. I was like, it was kind of like the Tom Cruise on the end of Top Gun, throwing Goose's tags off the end of the ship. It's kind of like one of those things. But until took 10 years. So it's definitely work, but it can be done, and that's kind of why I'm doing this is so people can see that, Jesus, Fletch was a giant prick 10 years ago. Look at him now. You know what I mean?
Have you heard of the concept of invest in loss? It's a martial arts concept. It's Have you heard of pushing hands?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
In Tai Chi,
Sure.
is the natural progression is to go into pushing hands, which is a sensitivity exercise where you can feel where the other person's
Energy's going.
energy is and where to push to knock them off balance. You're not trying to throw them across the room. You're not trying to injure them.
Right.
You're just trying to get them to
stumble,
be off balance.
Right.
And the idea is to never be off balance.
Right. To flow with the. Is that kind of what you're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Similar
Which
to
is different than Kempo
or Aikido or something.
All those hard styles with elbows and punches.
Yeah.
Blocks and knee, Muay Thai and all that they're hard. Tai Chi, you'll find yourself pushing against, in my case, a woman of 100 pounds. And she pushed me out.
Wow.
It was like I had to, there's something inside you that goes, wait a second, I'm not supposed to be defeated,
Right.
So
that
kept happening until I could loosen my hips, until I could turn with the energy and learn how to do that. And then I could push her out. And it wasn't like I pushed her.
Right.
Against the wall. But, she lifted her foot. About time, I could not get her to do whatever I did.
Yeah.
She was excellent.
That's awesome. Man, there's some real good wisdom in martial arts. A lot of them, I've just been blown away by, and I need to do it more, because it really, I can tell on the days that I take the time to meditate for a minute, even if it's just 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and one of these days I'll be patient enough. But it's just like you said, you got to start doing it. If you don't start doing it, it's just like we used to stand in formation and just low ready to, for hours. So that, when you were there, when something happened, it was instant. You didn't even think.
Automatic.
Same kind of thing, right? Same as like, it's what I used to say this when I was a preacher, as Jesus made it simple, he didn't make it easy. Like
you were a preacher?
Yeah, man. I used to travel around with the Newsboys, Sonic Flood, like back in the day, preaching to like teenagers, get them going mission trips and stuff. I did that till I was 21. Then I got married. I married a pastor's daughter and was I worked at the Buckle, and then I was a youth pastor and worship leader.
TMI. Well,
Yeah.
I'm just playing.
No. That's great.
Wait till you say something I can say.
Yeah, man, it's funny. Whenever I edit these, it's sometimes I'll just be sitting there. I'm like, God, Fletch, please shut up.
Puppies, calm down.
Yeah, he does that. He's such a lover of people, and so he gets so excited when somebody comes over. And, you know,
Australian
yep,
Shepherd.
Australian Shepherd. Yep, super smart. He's really sweet, really good, and man, he's
I
great.
have a
Like,
Doodle.
oh, I bet they would have got along. I bet they probably would have been fine. I get nervous even with him just because, you see all the lights and stuff. But he's super friendly and he can always tell when I start setting up for the podcast. He's like, oh, we got somebody coming over.
Someone's coming.
Yeah.
Someone's coming by.
Oh, Dio, get down.
Why do you think I have this here?
Dio. Good boy. Well, so
you want to know anything about music?
yeah, I don't know. Music, when people
my music.
Yeah, I do actually. So the new album, dude, is so good too. It's really good, man.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. I've got a bunch of your stuff on the playlist, and Brandon does such a great job on it too. Man, it's just it's good. And Weights and Measures, dude, that's where you recorded it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dwayne is just such a great guy. And, it sounds really good, dude. Full sound, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for a 2-piece.
Yeah.
Just sounds good, in my opinion.
It does.
It went down pretty quick because we were
Uh-huh.
playing the songs. Still in the top 5 since May.
That's awesome, dude. And didn't you get nominated too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brandon was nominated for Best Acoustic Guitarist. He got nominated for Best CD.
Awesome.
Also Best Video.
Dude, that's really cool, man.
We didn't win, but
hey, just
we were there. We went to the Blues Blast.
That's awesome. Didn't you guys play at that too?
Yeah, it was pretty fun.
That's great, man. That's great. Yeah. What an honor, man. And dude, on the first one, you guys were nominated too, weren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
then 2020 hit.
We couldn't take advantage of anything.
Yeah. I remember talking to Brandon about that because I was upset because I was like, man, I had just recorded this album and I just got this deal with these guys and then I couldn't do anything. He was like, man, I got no. I was like, oh man, that's right, you guys. But man, talk about resilience, dude. You can't like play the victim and be like, oh, we got screwed and then not do it ever again. You guys went right back at it.
I mean, Charlie Musselwhite got the best acoustic record. I mean, that's pretty
to
good
be up
company.
there with him is pretty amazing.
Pretty good company.
Yeah, very good company. That's
I
like
was
Danielle, right?
Yeah.
Shamika was the one that beat. I mean, you can't be mad at that. Gosh.
So, no, it was a learning experience for me, and got to jam with some people.
Are you guys going to be doing any of the cruises or any of that stuff? Have you guys...
we did one. We did 36. It's been 2 years now.
Okay.
We'll see.
Was that fun? Did you like doing that?
It was fun. The ship was at 55% occupancy because of the COVID situation, and so there was a lot of room to roam.
Cool.
We played a lot and played a lot of different situations. Heard a lot of music. Jammed.
So are you ever planning on doing a full band record, or are you gonna keep doing you plan on doing another duo record?
We're working on a duo record right now.
Awesome.
Originals. And we played around with some of those ideas.
Yeah.
Doing electric. That's how it started. It was just kind of a Black Keys approach.
Yeah. I love Black Keys, man.
We blew them out of the room. So
Yeah.
we don't like you guys, you know.
And then when you went acoustic,
So we went acoustic after the IBC
yeah,
experience. It was like the lady was going like this, you know.
yeah.
So this isn't good.
Well, Brandon is an amazing guitar player. I mean, he's a great acoustic guitar player. Uh, Whenever I was doing uh, last summer, I had a show every other week at this place, and it was acoustic, 2 hour acoustic stuff, and so I got different guitar players come in, and I did one with Brandon, and man, dude's just a machine, man.
Yeah, he always got his instrument with him.
Yeah, and I love the guy too, man. He's we spent some time. We went canoeing a couple summers ago. I had a blast, man. Him and Ray, and then when they had their baby, I sent him a little Jam Killer onesie.
That's cool.
Yeah.
She's growing up.
Yeah.
And we wrote a song on this new record.
That's awesome, man.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. All right. No spoilers. No spoilers. Well, cool, man. Well, I wish you nothing but luck on that stuff, man. Because I mean, it's like I said, your stuff's great, dude. And I try to help out as many people as I can in any way that I can. Not saying that you need my help or anything, but you know, I keep trying to get everybody too to realize how important it is. Like if you see some band that you like on Facebook or something doing something, just like and share it, because you have no idea how much that like helps them out, gets them out in front of more people and stuff, you know. And musicians, it's okay to share other people's stuff too.
I'm sure they heard that.
Yeah. Well, you know, I try to practice what I preach, you know. So that's why, like Friday night, I played at BB's, and I was like, look, if you can't make it to my show, better get down to Nux and see Brandon Miller, you know, this Gonzo thing. You know, I think it's important that we be ecumenical, you know, a little big word, but just means that you let you know.
I know what it means.
Yeah. Oh, I know you know what it means. I know you know.
Oh.
Yeah, I know you know what it means. Just, you know, I used to be told that I was too ecumenical whenever I was preaching. You just, well, man, what do you mean? We're supposed to include everybody, aren't we?
Supposed to.
Yeah, like, come on. So, you know,
instead of preaching to the choir,
right? Well, let's talk about that. What are do you have a like certain religion that you follow or that you practice, or you don't want to talk about it?
I just I do have feelings about organized religion.
Mm-hmm.
Studied several approaches, and not necessarily indoctrinated myself into those approaches, but
Right.
just to become aware of other ways of thinking about things.
Sure. And, I think that's good.
This recent people have a very short attention span when you start talking about your religion and where you're coming from on that, and that's fine. I feel that people use organized religion to control people.
Totally.
And I don't like to be controlled.
Yeah.
I like to be free.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah.
I like to go somewhere and learn their language.
Sure.
And
not feel guilty about it, right?
And,
either.
Wear their clothes.
Yeah.
And wear clothes that my people used to wear, and speak my language.
Yeah.
And other languages. And all that is so interesting to me.
For sure.
That, you know, you've done traveling, and you know how when you don't travel, you are this big, and then when you travel, you're this big
Yeah,
because there's
yeah.
so much
Context.
out there.
Yeah,
How can you have a? How can you get a large ego and in your
right.
head
No
get to
kidding.
that point where you think you know everything?
Yeah. And
Because
part of that is an American problem too. You know, we have lived in a time of great, just, in America anyway, we've not really known struggle, not in the real sense. I'm not trying to diminish anyone's problems, but those are first world problems 9 times out of 10. You know what I mean? And when you see real poverty, man, it's pretty crazy. I mean, I know you know what I'm talking about. Like,
I mean, mm, it it bothers me when I see people without, but
me too.
I've also been without.
Yeah.
So I understand where they're coming from. I understand that when you're in that situation, you're not necessarily bad. You're
Right.
just in you're in that situation,
Yeah.
and some of them will invite you in and give you half of their
Yep.
weekly weekly allotment
Mm-hmm.
just so you can be comfortable.
Yeah.
Tea and whatever it is. So
Then that's true
shisha
hospitality.
or
Yeah.
whatever it is.
One of the a very influential book in my life I read before I went to Afghanistan was 3 Cups of Tea by oh gosh, what's his name? Space in his name. Anyway, hopefully I'll think about it before the end of the podcast. But basically, it's talking about the wasabis that started coming up in not wasabi, something like that. What?
Wasabi is that
Yeah, wasabi's
spice.
this. Yeah, it's hadat. It's the name for the extremist Islam schools
Oh,
uh, in Pakistan, going down in Afghanistan.
mm-hmm,
He went in there and he was building schools and stuff, and so he
mm-hmm,
was he was constantly facing backlash by the men because women were being educated and stuff like that.
mm-hmm,
But I read it because I just wanted to get some context about the area, and it was
mm-hmm.
a highly recommended book. But that's another thing that he talked about. Even though some of those men wanted to kill him, under certain, they would still invite him in to have tea. Like
Right.
you're like that.
It's like a basic thing. You always help
Yeah,
someone.
yeah, and like that, the Navy SEAL who his whole team basically had been killed. He made it to this one village, and the guy, the one of the family, some elder there said, you're protected. He gave some thing, and then they protected him from the Taliban that were,
Mm-hmm.
this amazing thing, dude. Which is why man, when we pulled out of Afghanistan, I was in the bathroom on the phone with Adam Hagerman, just bawling my eyes out. Like
Mm-hmm.
that really was the catalyst that got me sober off alcohol. Because you know that was 2 weeks of pure hell, man. I just could not believe all of that shit that we did meant absolutely nothing. You know what I mean? It's what it felt like. It's what it felt like. And
That's what the Macedonians felt too.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. What the Soviets felt. Yeah,
Afghanistan is
yeah,
one of those places
yeah.
you just can't
Hearts and minds,
bring
man.
it all together because of just the
So,
geography.
but anyway, like I was saying, and Isaac and Ishmael, man.
Mm-hmm.
It- and it's
Were they brothers?
yeah.
Yeah.
Isaac was the one that finally came from his actual wife Sarah, and
Mm-hmm.
Ishmael was from his handmaiden.
You're talking about Abraham now, right?
Abraham, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yep, yeah. I mean, if that's what you go, and that's the genealogy, basically. That's why. I mean, and they've been literally fighting ever since. Ever since.
Mhm.
It's amazing. So when people, they're not going to be able to, like you were saying earlier, sometimes people just, they're not going to get it. You know what I mean? That stuff is so ingrained that we just need to, step away, man, and let it run its course. You know what I mean? I don't know what I can't stand to see the kids dying, man. That's what messed me up in Afghanistan, and that's what still messes me up. Every time I see it, it just infuriates me that we're allowing it. And you have to be real careful because, dude, what Hamas did was disgusting and horrible, and I can't understand why anyone would think that a god would find that worthy or honorable. You know what I mean? That being said, also,
Go in and mow down the whole Gaza Strip.
no, I don't think that's the
That's
answer
not
either.
good either.
No, not at
That
all.
just plays into they're doing
Yeah,
exactly what Hamas wants them
yeah,
to do.
they're just making
Go in,
terrorists.
make a mess. That makes Jordan, everybody, Egypt,
Yep.
everybody angry at Israel.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of understandable, though. I
then
mean,
America jumps in and it's like, oh, now we're mad at you too.
yeah,
So,
and listen, I'm telling you what. Even if do you know who Jocko is? He's
Jocko Pastorius, bass player, Florida, played with Weather Report.
Well, no, he was a special force, Navy SEAL commander. He has a podcast. He's a big guy.
Oh, this is somebody different.
Yeah, somebody different. But he was saying the other day on his podcast, he's saying basically, he's like, what's happening is, and he has insane amount of experience in urban combat and situations. Is all you're doing right now is making terrorists. Like, literally, if you really wanted something to change, you would be letting people across the border that are innocent people. You know what I mean? You would be getting food and water and stuff like that in there. Right now, you're literally, every day I get up, I see it on the news. There's some 15, 16-year-old boy crying because his mother just got blown up or his brother just died. And I guarantee you those people are going to be picking up rifles and, so we got to stop,
next week even.
Yeah. So, and that, we've got to.
Tai Chi. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. There. It's fine.
The idea is it's internal and it's soft and it gives and to testosterone culture, that's not good.
Right.
Giving up space is not good.
Right.
That's what Hitler did. Do not take one step back.
Right.
And then they got encircled.
Yep.
And wiped out. And then he didn't have any more reserves. And, he lost his war. Stalin did the same thing.
I mean,
don't.
And I know that there are Israelis.
You gotta give pressure. Otherwise, it's going to blow up.
Yep. And it could really be something that is actually, it's going to touch home. I guarantee you, it will touch home if we allow it to happen. As I don't know. I don't want to go too crazy on it. I really hope that people, we need to choose love. You know what I mean? And we got to stop bombing. They've killed more kids already than Israelis have died in that you know what I mean? It's got to stop. But so let's not end it on that horrible note. But hi, son. I really appreciate you coming by and hanging out with me and being willing.
Everything's not going to be unicorns and gold.
That's right. That's right. But
I've always wanted to say that.
Well, good. I'm glad. But we'll turn that into the tagline. But I really appreciate you coming and being willing to talk about this stuff, man, because it people are getting fired over this kind of stuff, so I do appreciate that.
It's my pleasure.
It means a lot to me, and well, I know Dio liked you and was glad that you were here too. So
Dio's cool,
Yeah.
relaxed.
Yeah.
And at one point was like chewing on something.
Yeah, I had to take it. I took it away. I was like, dude, this is annoying, man. All right.
Lunch.
Well, thanks again, man.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
My pleasure.